Hi, what is up everybody? Here's Matsek once again, and in today's video we're going to be rooting Epsilon from Out the Box, a medium level machine based on cloud security. AWS is actually on the cloud track of Hack the Box, right? So as always, let me just walk you through the nmap command I used to discover the open ports. As you can see there, I use the tag pn argument to tell nmap that the host is already up and running. Tag sv to tell, to perform a service version detection scan, appending this column right here. And as he appended to it, it's just a shorthand for another parameter, which is tag sc, right? Just as sv. There's another one which is sc, and you can just squeeze them in, and I will perform a bunch of default scripts the scripting and nmap scripting engine has. I'll show you later. Also, I used a minimum rate of 500 packages a minute since we are over a VPN. Communications are slow, and that rate of 500 is just about right for me. I've seen other folks using 5,000 even, but that just has made me lose a lot of information, a lot of packets on the wire, so 500 is fine for me, right? Tag and will disable DNS resolution. Tag b tag will perform a scan over the whole range of ports that are available over the TCP IP port, which is 65,535. Lastly, I'll save the output to a file called general inside a file directory named nmap. Now onto the results, we see that we have OpenSSH 8.8.2, and I actually saw today that there's a new vulnerability for OpenSSH where you can get denial of service and remote command execution. I think the version is 9.1 or 9.2, something like that, and quite interesting. Just wanted to share that with you. And as I told you, these guys from here are default scripts that are being launched, right? So SSH shows us some host key and some hashes, I don't know, signatures of RSA, CDSA, and so on and so forth. For the HTTP based protocols such as 80 and 5000, we have two versions, Apache 2.4.41 and Worksuit HTTPD 2.0.2, which is a Python web server. Now in the first one, we see that a default script did the task for us. It found a .git repository in that server. It is unnamed, and the last commit message says updating tracking API. So that sounds juicy, right? Also, it says forbidden in the title, and that's it. While on the 5000, we see that there's a title, custom shop, and nothing else. Now, if we go and check that, we will see effectively that this is forbidden. You can try to fuss, but you won't find anything rather than that git. And in custom shop, we have this interesting website. Welcome to Epsilon custom shop. We can try several things like admin or administrator admin, and a lot of things. You won't find anything truly. If we check the source code, a lot of CSS code, scripts, but nothing interesting, and that's fine, right? So let's go to check that git. If you didn't know anything about that git repositories found in websites, you could do something like, hey, I need a tool. I don't know if it even exists, but who knows? GitHub.git repository found website, just keywords, right? That's super important. And let's see. For example, here it says Stack Overflow. A lot of things, but I actually want to GitHub. I don't know, maybe let me add the word tool. Damn it. Okay, that worked. So actually I wanted tool, but that is fine. So look at these GitHub repositories, and actually this is a pretty famous one, and I'm gonna be using this because it's the one I like the most. But you actually have Writeup, Gitdumper, and I don't know if there are more. Maybe this one, Wang Yihang, GitHugger. But this has worked just fine for me. So let me go ahead and clone it. I'm gonna be going to exploits, git clone, git tools, and we have 3 of them. Now we can go ahead and read the description. Basically, Finder identifies websites with publicly accessible Git repositories. It checks the Git head, so that is a pretty awesome internet security tool in order to, identify what websites have this like in their resources and notify ethically the owner and all the stuff. For example, Alex Tom Millions one, Tom what million? I don't know what that is exactly, but no. I mean, probably a list of top 1 million servers. I don't know. Websites, I don't know. So Dumper, this is the one we're interested in. It says this tool can be used to download as much as possible from the found.git repository from web servers which do not have directory listen enabled. So let us go with that right now. We can dumper, yep, and git dumper.sh, right? So target, let me just put it there, my IP and .git, and this there, I want it to be here in a, actually it created it. Okay, I wanted to create it, but there you go. So as you see, it's downloaded a lot of stuff, objects, logs, head. Well, those are Git things, basically. We can ls dump. We won't see anything, but lsla dump, we will see a .get, and the things. Now we want to use the extractor, right? Oh, I was here, so yeah, extractor, what else? Extractor.sh, and get there, get this there. So let me use dump, and I don't know, let me just dump, yeah, let's do it like that. And it's found in a lot of files. If we go to dump, now we want to only see the .git, but a bunch of other files that if we inspect them, we will see the actual files of every commit. Now, important to say though is that these 6 folders are not organized. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's not the real order. So we might found an early version here, and then a later one in here, then the first one here, then the last one here. Yeah, just crazy. That is interesting, and let us start checking. So I'm gonna be using this, and hopefully if I hit this, I mean every file will open up after another. So this is the first one, which is called I don't think this is the one. Okay, yes. Well, I don't know the name, but it's a file that will hold the commit text, right? Commit text. So then I can hit Q to quit, and next will be a Python file. And well, it actually didn't work. So let us do it manually then. So tracker API, there you go. Now look at this. So we have a Python script which is defining a session. This is a tuple. You can see it for the thanks to the parentheses. We have the access key, secret access key of the AWS, but it's not there. But obviously this is Git. Maybe we have later, right? Region name, endpoint URL. We have here a subdomain which we need to add to our local DNS host. which is, I mean, DNS server, which is /etc/hosts. You will add it just like this: 10.10.11.134 epsilon.htb and then cloud.epsilon.htb, right? Now look at this. It says epsilon, right? And well, you just type it like that. You know, the machine is named Epsilon though, so we'll see later why. And it says AWS Lambda, and if we don't know what it is, what is it? So here it says, well, in Spanish. Let's just read a little bit, just to wrap our head around this concept. So here it says, AWS Lambda is a serverless compute service that runs your code in response to events and automatically manages the underlying compute resources for you. These events may include changes in state or an update, such as a user placing an item in a shopping cart or an e-commerce website. You can use AWS Lambda to extend other AWS services with custom logic or create your own backend services that operate at AWS scale, performance, and security. AWS Lambda automatically runs code in response to multiple events such as HTTP requests via Amazon API gateway, modifications to objects in Amazon Simple Search service, Amazon S3 buckets, table updates in Amazon DynamoDB, and state transitions in AWS step functions. So, let's keep reading. And it says file to zip. So we're talking about zip files. I don't know why so far. Make zip file bytes. I don't know why either. Files to zip. Okay, update Lambda. And well, update Lambda. I don't know what it's doing there, honestly. Well, let's get going. All right, so let's go with the first one. So commit meta, adding custom site. So apparently, and obviously, I mean, I just saw it. We have a server, which is probably the script that adds this custom shell, right? So let's take a look at that. And okay, first of all, it's a Flask application. There's a secret key that we might be able to find later. There's a JOT verification algorithm here. There are 3 routes: home, and if request for username admin and admin, then and Joe token, username admin, secret algorithm. That is actually interesting, but I can't do that. Like admin, and I want to check the request of this action. Post, yeah, I mean post admin, it won't let me log in, so I'm not really sure what's going on in there. We also have a home, which I think it's the same. We also have a track with get and post, and if it's post, it will check out our JOT if it's actually alright, but we can't even like try to forge one since we don't have the secret key, so we can do it that way. And we have actually another order, and if order else, return redirect. So order, we might not be able to access it because we don't have a valid JOT, but track apparently should let us do it, unless, I mean, only unless we wanted to perform a post request. So let us take a look at that, because if I enter here order, yeah, it just won't work. But what about track? Okay, it let us. So we have contact here that is not working. Welcome admin seems like a button, but it's not either. Track is where we are. Enter order ID. I want to check this request again, and I want to send whatever it is, track, and it takes us back because it's a post request. And if post, do verify the JOT, but if it doesn't work, take it back, right? That's what's going on. And the post request is just an ID and ASD. So we're bad so far, but we also have a track IP, I mean another version. Same thing here. Well, actually this shouldn't be modified, as the commit always states that the only change was to add that website, right? So let us read this. And adding tracking API module, track API. And well, look at that. So in this version of these files, we have a AWS access key and AWS secret access key, which is quite a discovery. So nano AWS creds. So just copy this, remove this, and remove this from here. That's it. Fantastic. And what else? Nothing. Everything looks just the same. Let's keep going. So this case 3, commit meta, updating tracking API. Okay, updating and track API. Okay. Secret keys are no longer there. Let us check the 4.1 and commit meta, updating again, and track API. Again, nothing interesting. What about the 5? Okay, we have server.py again. Fixed typo. Server. Nope, there's no secret key so far. And well, I don't know where typo is. Track your API. Okay, yep, look at this. So now the endpoint URL doesn't say Epsilon anymore. I mean Epsilon, on G at the end, but Epsilon, which is the actual correct domain name, right? So okay, so how do we move on from here? So we have AWS access keys. We need to use something which is AWS, the AWS CLI. I think you can install it with apt-get AWS CLI. I mean apt-get install AWS CLI. I mean I need to be root, but that's just about right. So AWS configure, that will prompt me with options to set up some credentials and start using AWS CLI. Now, since I already have one for my personal matters, I can use the profile flag to use something like epsilon.htb. Okay, and you see, this will be asking us for key ID and access key. It also asks us for a region name, so let me actually not. Let me check that before again, because let's exploit dumb, well, 10 dumb and 5 tracker AP. Yeah, so the region name must be US East 1, right? And the endpoint URL, I know. What is this? The format. So the format should be JSON, and since it says none, we must change it. Sometimes it says JSON here, so that's by default. So this is not the case. So JSON, that's freaking cool. So at this point, we want to do something like hack tricks, AWS Lambda, just to see what can we do with this thing. And Lambda enum now again. So let's try to enum down Lambda just to see what we can get from that. And I want to, for example, here, I want to list the functions, right? It is not super. Damn. First though. Okay, so gosh. I can do this and profile epsilon.htb, right? Never occurred. The security token is, I don't know what is epsilon.htb. Well, I actually save it as with G. But yeah, I don't know what's going on, so maybe I just copied it wrong. Okay, yeah, I can remember what's going on. So remember, we need still to have the here the endpoint URL, right? And if you look that up on man AWS, nope. Okay, maybe just nope. Here, help, I think. Yep. So this is not working, but I mean, you can just Google it out or figure out by yourself that you might try something like endpoint URL, right? And try that. Cloud Epsilon HTB. I like that. And look at that. So we have one function. We can pass this to JQ. You will see it better just as this suggests, but in this case that won't work. Not a no environment. I'm not really sure. So let's take a look at the parameters. So we have function name, custom shop v1, the function ARN, the runtime Python 3.7, last modified, mode pass through, revision ID, state active, last update successful, package type .zip. So I remember in the scripts they were talking about zips files and converting zip to bytes, and I don't know why is that, but that all makes sense, right? So let's keep reading here, and we can list function, URL config event, a lot of things we don't even need for this machine, but you can go and try it. Feel free to do it and get more functionality info on the address to download the code. Okay, so apparently we can download the code of it, so let's do it. So first of all, get function and function name at the end. So function name, which is custom shop v1. Get functions, now get function. And there we go. So again, same information here, but at the end we have location of download things, which is quite awesome. So we have now an endpoint where we can download the code from. So let me turn this off. Let me move the S. And okay, lambda archive.zip. We just downloaded it. Let me go back and go to contents and move from my downloads folder lambda, unzip it, and we have our Python, so lambda function zip, and well, look at that. So secret API gateway authorization, interesting, obviously, lambda dynamo tracking, well, a lot of things there. But what about if we try to use this secret with the JSON web token, huh? So let's go to jot.io and let's, for example, here, well, once again, exploits, git tools, dumb, I think what's 0. Yes. Track API? No. So let me go with the 5th one. This server. Okay, cool. So look at this. We see that here is encoding the username admin as Jode encode. jot the code. I mean, I see that jot in code uses a token, a key, which I think we just have, an algorithm, and a username. And look at this. If post, so verify jot by passing in the jot, which is stored in a cookie named auth, and a secret, right? So verify jot in here, so token and a key. So the token is, yeah, okay, cool. So look at this. We are here in the jot thing. We are using HS256 as the algorithm. That is fine. Type jot, that should be all right. And we also have a username admin. So username admin. So like that, I think. And lastly, I would do this and take this thing and try to I mean, use it here as the secret and try to use this. If not, I will try to basic support encode it. In the meantime, let me just go with this. So I need to create a cookie here. I can use cookie editor, a super useful extension from Firefox. So auth, and this one, I'm gonna be saving it. And I don't know, let me just order. Hey, look at that. So we were logged in. And this is amazing. And in for server.py. For you to see, what I'm going to do is code analysis. So here at the end, look at this. Track, order, both of them are using something called render template, right? Now this render template is something related to the Python template engine, which has some vulnerabilities associated if the input is not correctly sanitized, which you don't see any sanitization here, and it's server-side template injection, right? So we might have that into account from now on. So I want to see this, for example, whatever phantom mask, and enter quantity -12 test, and I don't know, h2 I just testing, you know. And let me see the request behind it. Let me go into network order. We have a post here. Okay, post here, request. And okay, so we selected something called phantom mask. The actual test send was phantom, right? And the good thing is that phantom is visible, so it's reflected. That is our injection point, so we might be able to try that, right? So let me just come here and turn up my verb suite thing. Let's just once again here in order, let me send it out to the repeater. Go here, send it, and in the meantime, SSTI payload all the things, payloads all the things, SSTI server-side template injection, right? So in case you're not familiarized with this one, you would know that there's actually, I mean, at least for not sanitized web applications such as this one, it's kind of easy. This is one of the easiest vulnerabilities to exploit. The methodology, look at this. So we might want to try this and go, well, depending on how the web app responds, go testing and determining what template engine is, right? So let us try this first, this payload first. So instead of glasses, what if we tried 7 times 7 between curly brackets and a leading dollar sign. So render, and we see the output just as we entered it, so that's not right. Let us try this one from here, which is double curly bracket and 7 times 7. If we see that the code gets executed, that is 7 times 7 is 49, then we'll know that it is vulnerable, right? And look at that, we know 49, so that is pretty good sign. Now we can move on and say, okay, let me try 7 times 7. Now 7 as a string, so that it will be 7 sevens, right? So there you see 7 sevens. Now we know we are against either a Jinja tool, a twig, or whatever other template engine we don't know. Now I can tell you up front that Jinja tool is usually the most common one. Okay, so we can just start scrolling down and using Jinja tool here, basic injection. We can try these payloads just to further confirm. Well, not necessary. And we'll see that 16, 4 times 4 is 16, but the other one doesn't get executed. And over here, we have some remote code execution things, such as this one. For example, here I can execute a ID command here as well. And I'm going to be using this one just because it's shorter payload. And I'm gonna be removing this trailing white space and this leading white space, and I'm gonna be executing it just like that. Look at that. We can confirm we have remote code execution as Tom, but we might want to get a reverse shell right off the back, like bash t, and inside double apostrophes bash I this. div tcp 1, well, 10, 10, 14, 15, 4444. This is just a basic reverse shell, right? So I'm going to be URL encoding it. And in here, I'm going to be ncmvlp 444. And let's wait for it. And there you go. So I send it with control space. And we got a reverse shell. So let me just stabilize this one with scrap dev null c bash, then Ctrl Z to suspend and SSTI run -echo fg, and reset xterm and export term as in xterm. That will let us do Ctrl L, right? Ctrl L. Now from here, let me just do something like xtty size, and now we know that natively my computer has 3 rows and 135 columns. If I do this, I wouldn't have any problem, like otherwise it would take until here and it would go again. Now we can take advantage of all my screen space. Okay, so let's get started enumerating sudo tactile. We don't have Tom's password. Well, let's check this one. app.py. We kind of see the same server.py. We see the secret in there. A lot of things. And I'm gonna just jump right into the matter here. Usually something you always do is start enumerating folders such as opt, temp, var, mount, srv, server, media, a lot of that. And I see this opt and I see a backups. Okay, so I can check that. I see it's empty, but I can do something, because usually if you see a backup folder, you think that there might be a cron tab over there, right? So add etc cron tab. If there is nothing there, there must be, or there could be a cron tab running as an administrator. So so we might not see it here, but there is actually there. I'm going to be using watch and 1, that is every 1 second do something, such as LSLA opt backups. So we'll see if this changes every second on the way. So there you go. So I see a tar file and a checksum, and then it disappears. That is really weird. I don't know what's going on. For this task, I might need to have a process inspector in real time, because if I do this, something like psax, I will see the process running, but not in real time, so that if if something gets executed and 3 seconds later it stops, I won't see it here. So that I can take advantage of a tool called git pspy. So go ahead and look pspy, just as this pspy here, and look it up on GitHub, download it, and I'm gonna be hosting it into a Python server. And I'm gonna be, let me go to my folder. There you have user.txt. Let me download this. Let me give it execution permissions. Let me execute it, right? That will start logging in all the processes that are being executed, started, or whatsoever. So that is quite interesting. And we'll just hold on for a minute. Usually in CDFs, things happens in a minute or two, just to not keep you waiting. But in real time, there must be a cron tab running every 24 hours or every 2 days. So yeah, there is a good thing to know that and to be aware of. So we'll just wait a little bit and look at that. So I see there's been executed a series of commands, bin bash user bin backup.sh. I want to check that, and they're being executed as root. Interesting. So bin bash sleep 5 date. Okay, I definitely want to check that out closely. So cat and this. Now let's start analyzing this one. So bin bash and file, it's defining as date this, which I don't know exactly what this is. 12393. It's clearly that it's related to a date, and I think it's actually, I don't know, like a command to take the time, including every second, and I don't know, hashing it somehow. So that's why we saw file with some name. So look at this. User bin rm, it's removing everything that it's in OPT backups. R for recursively and F for forcefully. It's tarring CVF means create, force, verbose. So it's creating a file named OPT backups file.tar file. Remember, it's this weird number from here, and it's zipping everything that is inside the app, the var www app folder, right? Then it's SHA-1 sum, that is taking the SHA-1 hash of this very file. It's cutting it like with a delimiter of every space, and taking the first field and moving it to backup checksum. Okay, that's the other file we saw. Then it'll sleep 5 seconds, and there is another date, check file with that. This time is using tar create vf. Now I don't know what that h is, but there's a super useful thing here, explainshell.com, I think it is. And if we paste this in here, we will see an explanation of every option. So tar, C for create, H for the reference. It's follow symlinks, archive, and dump the files they point to. Interesting. Verbose and file. Okay. So F was not for forcefully. In our aim it is, but not for tar. Whatever. Follow symlinks, archive, and dump the files they point to. So that means that if I have a file there that points to, I don't know, any folder with some files in it, it will archive them too. So that is interesting. Now I might want to think about, what if, since this is being executed as root, what if we can like hijack a file here, such as, I don't know, checksum, and since this is sleeping 5 seconds, it's giving us enough time to do it. So we might create another checksum file that is pointing to, through a symlink, the root folder. Right now, apparently that whole root folder should be archived into what is it here, into var backups, web backups, no, some random name, that tar. You see that? That is quite interesting. And it's actually backuping that weird name and checksum. So yes, we indeed have 5 seconds to remove the original checksum and create ours, right? So this is quite an interesting thing, because we have 5 seconds in a minute, so we might need to use a infinite loop. So let us go with something like x.sh. I'm gonna be using this shebang to use bin bash. I'm gonna be using while true, do something, right? And first of all, I want to check a condition, right? Fi. I want to check a condition if opt backups checksum exists, right? Whenever it happens, I want you to, first of all, echo checksum detected. Okay. Second of all, I want you to remove, forcefully, I don't want you to ask me, that file. Actually, let me just define this. So checksum opt backups checksum. I think that should work. I don't think I need it like that. Maybe yes. Then, and you like that, remove checksum. Right. What else? Then echo delete it. Right. Actually, let's do it in an I. So if this is successful, echo delete it. Otherwise, don't. This is a pretty basic script, right? And I want you to create a symlink, which ln, which is linked. No, I don't know what it is, what it stands for. But we can use lnsf. Let's use credential to let us know. lnsf. And ln make links between files, cool. And s makes a symbolic link instead of a hard link. And f, of course, remove existing destination files. So cool. lnsf. And I want you to link root to opt backups and checksum, right? Well, we have a variable for that. Checksum, cool. And if that works, I want you to echo symlink as being created. So that's cool. Also, I want you to sleep 3 seconds or 2 seconds maybe. And then LSLA, I want to check that bar backups web backups, I think it was. And after all that, I want you to break the infinite loop, and that should be it. All right, that should be it. So before moving on, I want you to see what is bar backups web backups. There are a bunch of files. All of them has the same length or size, and let's keep waiting. Shouldn't take much more. At this point, it should be constantly looking for that file. So checksum detected, deleted symlink has been created. Symlink has been created. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so we have a file. I don't know why it wasn't showing up in here, but yeah, checksum detected, it deleted it, and it created the symlink. Then it did the work of, probably we should have waited more than 3 seconds, just 5, which is the same rate, the same amount of seconds that the backup.sh waits for, right? So anyway, let us bar backups web backups 8a whatever here, copy it here, and tar x for uncompress, verbose forcefully, this, and a lot of things going on. It created a opt, a backups file, a checksum file, and look at that. It actually saved the whole root thing here. So we have root txt, that's cool. We have a lambda script, which is the one. Look at this, the file here, function name, well, a lot of things. LSLA source, custom shop that thing here, docker composed, and obviously we can check the whole content in here, and we have an SSH, and we have keys, so we are able to log in as root, right? So SSH root at 127.0.0.1 there you go, we're root, and that's it. So interesting machine, I really loved it. I have no words for this machine. I really loved it, man. I love learning about cloud. This is maybe the second machine I do about cloud, so it pretty gave me a great idea about it, and I'm grateful for that. I don't know who created it, but kudos to that guy or girl, whatever it is. And that's it. So let me wrap this up here, and I'll see you later in another video. All right, thank you very much for joining.